What's going on, everybody? It's your boy PTK Blam back in the building with another episode of the Shop Podcast. How is everybody doing? It's awesome Saturday evening when we are back with another episode. Got a brand new guest this week. He has been on the show before, but it has been a while, man. So triumphant return here on the show. And once again, we want to show love, major love to the chat. You guys are what make this place comfortable. You guys are what make the Shop Podcast the place to be for gaming news, gaming information, gaming fun on Saturday evenings, man. So appreciate you all. Show some love in the chat. Hit the like button, man. Show some love to us here on the panel, man. All of our information down in the description. But let's go ahead and get to our guests. Enough of me. You guys know who the hell I am already. We do this every week. Shout out to Bacon. Shout out to Sean, too. Appreciate you guys in the chat already. But let's get to you, Mr. Wilmy Hood. How are you doing, sir? It's been a while, man. How have you been, sir?
Well, I think everybody knows I'm better now. I had a a rough week a few weeks ago, but I'm back and I'm doing improved. And this time, unlike the last time I was in the hospital, I didn't get any new body parts.
Well, we're glad to have you here. We're glad to see you. Glad to have your energy, man. Shout out to you, one of the OGs in the game. He's always been a supporter of the Shop Podcast. Wilmy, how long has it actually been? Do you remember the last time you was on here?
It's been close to a year.
Yeah, I would say.
Yeah.
So far too damn long.
It's been a while, man.
Been a while, but once again, glad to have you here, man. Appreciate you, OG in the shop podcast. Go back, check the videos. Been on here multiple times already, but glad to have him here, man. Once again, appreciate you guys. Shout out in the chat, OCD Gamer, Bunty, everybody hanging out, man. We already filling things up here, so hit that like button.
I see
man.
Ham.
Yeah, Ham. What's up, Ham? How you doing, brother? I see you. Mr. Behind the Sticks over there. Shout out to him, Solo Gaming, in the chat out there. Was on the show a week ago, I believe, a week or so ago. So shout out to him. Appreciate you, brother. But let's go ahead and go to my right hand man here, Mr. Pong Soul, Pong Harvey. How you doing, brother?
Been a week and a half, but no, it's been a week. It's been busy. Been light on the podcast circuit actually, but I did have an extra one with GBTV Nation over there with Wilmy earlier in the week. But
you gotta be careful with those guys. They're bad. They're a bad.
Always a fantastic time over there. Otherwise, I wasn't on Xbox Factor, and we didn't have Xbox Ultimate, so I'm primed for a nice night tonight to end the week on. I had a great morning show, obviously with Steel, over 4 hours this morning. So we're ready to rock and roll.
Christ, dude. 4 hours.
That's what we do, Wilmy, on Saturday morning.
Are you trying to keep up with Iron Lords or what?
Yeah, we kind of do that. But no, man, it's been a great week. Obviously, it is Elden Ring, and we're just all here being tarnished. So you know what? That's okay. This is a special game. I haven't played as much this week as I wanted to, but man, this tomorrow and Monday, I'm getting my time in. So, but no, other than that, been a great week. A lot of great topics to talk about PTK. So let's get down to business, sir.
Appreciate you, brother. Oh, hell yeah. I'm ready. We got to grease the wheels. Like you said, it's been a little light this week. Haven't been as many places. Shout out to Mav as well. I know you mentioned FSP been canceled. They had some things going on over there, but shout out to them. Appreciate the family. And let's go and throw this over to you, Fuzzy Belvedere. How you been, man? Busy week for you, especially. I mean, if you guys don't know, Fuzz is a bit of a car enthusiast, so a big week for him.
Yeah. Oh man, it's been crazy. I'm having a love-hate relationship with GT7 right now, so enjoying it, but just pushing through some of the BS right now. But man. Other than that, it was awesome being on GBTV earlier this week with Pong and Wilmy and the whole crew there. But man, oh man, some interesting topics tonight. So let's get into it.
Man, let's dive right in. And once again, hit the like button if you guys have not already. Appreciate you guys. Come in, make yourself comfortable. That's what we do here. We have a lot of fun. We talk gaming. We talk a lot about different things, but appreciate you guys. Your support is what make this possible. So let's go ahead and dive right in, man. You guys know what we do, man. We start with the poll of the week every single week at the Shop Podcast, actually on my Twitter account. So all of that information, very accessible down in the description below. So go ahead and follow me on Twitter if you want to be a part of that poll of the week every single Monday on Twitter. And we talk about it here on Saturday. So poll of the week this week, obviously with some huge announcements this year. 2022 has been it probably lived up to what we all thought it was going to be thus far. I think we would all agree on that. We'll elaborate on that shortly, but I think we would all be on the same level about as where we thought this year was going to be at this point in time. So Bowl of the Week was right in line with that. So we're 2 months into 2022, and it's already been a historic year in gaming with much more on the way. Can 2022 go down as the greatest year in gaming? So a little bit of context: Elden Ring, Gran Turismo 7, Horizon Forbidden West, Starfield, God of War, possibly Redfall, etc., etc., etc. So we'll start with you on this one, Wilmy. A bit of an open question, right? This is a bit controversial because it gets people talking. A lot of people have a lot of different lists, Wilmy, so we got to be careful. But where you at on this? I mean, we're only 2 months in, roughly.
Yeah, and it's going to be a hell of a year. And we don't even know everything that's coming out yet. That's the thing. There's a lot of buzz saying Microsoft is getting ready to start showing some games. PlayStation, I'm sure they've got a few, maybe, hopefully, tucked away. It's going to be a busy year. My only problem is I need more time because I started off with Elden Ring, and I love the game, but I really need to get back into Dying Light 2. So I finally finished that one this morning. And then
Awesome.
I said, oh, man, I got to go to Horizon Zero Dawn first. So I went to go play that this morning. I'm already backlogged like crazy. So, I mean, it's a great time to be a gamer, although some people don't see it that way. They love to bitch and complain about everything. But I do think it's going to be one of the best years we've seen in a very long time.
Oh, yeah. I think there's absolutely a chance we could book in the year with like Elden Ring being this huge historic thing. Potentially Starfield. I mean, obviously, some people make the comparison. We're not doing that right now, but I think there's a potential we could book in the year with two like huge games that like define where things are going, for the next couple of years. So I think that's a real possibility. So I don't know where you're at on that, Wilmy.
I agree with that because Elden Ring, I'm not even a Souls player.
Yeah.
Because I played Demon Souls originally on the PS3. And yeah, I did a lot of cursing and all that good stuff. But something about Elden Ring, man, I don't know. I wasn't even going to pick it up at first.
Yeah.
But I got all into it. The first time I played it, I played like 8.5 straight hours.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, and with some of the other games coming out, I think it's going to be a real defining year.
Yeah. Oh, man, that's great. It's funny because I hear that a lot about Elden Ring. I hear that a lot about, once I got into it, once I made that leap, essentially, they were hooked. Everybody's like right away. It's like the addiction. So,
it got me within the first hour.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny because everybody now, the younger generation, because we're old. We don't lie about it. And I am too. I mean, I just turned 49 years old. To us, we don't see it as Souls-like games because when we were playing games were hard. You didn't have automatic save points, back in the old days. When you started a level, you had to finish that level or you were just screwed. And if you died, you started back over. So I guess it kind of brought that back playing Elden Ring. Yeah. But yeah, dude, it sunk its claws into me within the first hour.
Awesome. So versatile. And you hear that, and it's crazy because, and we'll get into Elden Ring. Obviously, that's the topic, right? I mean, I don't think I even needed to say that. I mean, we're talking about that this week again, like we did last week, because it's that important. Shout out to him in the chat. Shout out to She Snow, OCD. Appreciate you, brother, hanging out with us every single Saturday. But yeah, I agree with you 100%, Wilmy. And something, this is Pong has been on this, Fuzzy's been on this. I think everybody that's been part of this panel has been on about where 2022 is going to be, potentially where it could be at. I think the chat is on it as well. Shout out to chat. We said it, 2022 could be bigger than 21, and we thought 21 was huge, ending with Horizon and ending with Halo and the big success of those games and how well they're doing. So where you at on this? We'll just go with you, Pong. Throw this over to you, brother. Once again, this is something that you've talked about. Obviously, you said golden age of gaming. This fits right in line with what you're talking about. So 2022, and we're not even thinking about next year. So
yeah, we're not even thinking about next year. That's correct. 2022 becoming the best of all time. Look, it's got a long ways. We got a long ways to go. It's off to a absolute rocking start. Like Wilmy said, we don't know a lot of what's coming. Starfield has to hit. God of War has to show up this year. And if we get enough filler in between with some really great stuff that we're not maybe aware of, or maybe hits better than we even thought it would, then I think we are going to start approaching. But look, 2007 is the year. 2007 is the year that you really have to look at when you're considering greatest of all time. You had Super Mario
Halo 2, right?
Halo 3.
3.
Yeah, you had Super Mario Galaxy, you had BioShock, you had the Orange Box come out that year, you had Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare, you had Halo 3, you had Oblivion come out that year. Look.
Oh yeah, look,
I can
damn,
keep,
man.
I can keep going. Mass Effect came out that year. We had Forza 2, which whatever, it still got great reviews. You had Uncharted show up that year. You had Ninja Gaiden Sigma. I mean, again, we're talking about one of the all-time years, right? Unreal Tournament 3. I mean, you're just a mass amount of some of the best games we've seen in history in 2007. So I think this year has a lot to catch up. However, having a generational type game start the year off in Elden Ring, and then potentially another one in a Starfield at the end of the year, bookending this year. And like I said, if a lot of the other ones hit like we think they are and some surprises show up, then yes, I think this could approach 2007. But I don't know, man. It's still an uphill battle right now.
That list fucked me up over here. I didn't realize.
Yeah, I had to sit back.
I didn't realize because so 2005 was Halo 2. That's my fault.
Yep.
I'm a little late on that. And 3
well,
is mine.
It was. In all fairness, that was, like 15 years ago. So
yeah, correct.
Low rusty there.
Yeah, but you forget. But just looking at scores, Mario Galaxy had a 97, BioShock a 96, the Orange Box a 96. We're talking Call of Duty Modern Warfare 94, Halo 3 a 94, Oblivion a 93. I mean,
and there's still people that play Orange Box.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
They play Team Fortress and all that stuff too.
Yep.
Sorry, Jasper. 2004. I do apologize. It was 3 years between 2 and 3. I apologize. Yep. So my fault on the dates there. Once again, appreciate the shout out to Jasper. But no, once again, you're right. That's a tough list. But once again, Elden Ring does help. Like you said, a generational game. Like Elden, and we're gonna get into that. We're definitely gonna talk about that, but we're gonna get Fuzzy's opinion here on where you're at, man, with 2022 thus far. Once again, lots of things moving around. We don't know what's gonna make this year. Obviously, that's big. So where you at on this, man? Now that we're 2 months in,
I think it's an awesome start to begin with, and we have a little inkling of some of the games that are going to be coming. So we got Atomic Heart that's going to be coming. We got. I just forgot the name of it. The one that's like a part 2, Plague's Tale. You got the Plague's Tale coming out a little bit later.
Requiem, right?
I mean, you've had, like, if you're a fighter fan, you have Street Fighter 6 coming out later, and you just had King of Fighters come out, and there's still a lot of support for like Guilty Gear and Smash and stuff like that. If you're a racing fan, you just had Gran Turismo. There's a potential of Motorsport coming out later this year. And then what's the other one? Test Drive is coming out possibly
I
later
forgot
this
about
year
that
as
one.
well. So I guess it depends on the type of gamer you are. This could very well be the biggest year in a very long time. But overall, I would say it's an awesome year to begin with. And there's still things that are kind of like question marks, like the unknowns or potential things that might get announced some point, midpoint this year. But so far, I'm pretty happy. I'm trying not to build up a backlog. That's the only reason why I haven't picked up Elden Ring just yet. Haven't finished Horizon, but I'm 70% through on that. And then Dying Light, I'm only about 20% through. And I didn't want to add another open world to it, but all of those are on hold now that Gran Turismo's out, even though it's kind of frustrating getting through that. But I can't wait to see what is coming in the next few months, or what they're going to announce in place of E3, because I have a feeling it will at that point give us a little bit better rivalry to 2007. That's going to be a tough list, but I think we'll at least come closer. This will be like the the next highlight. People refer to this year and 2007 as like the golden age of gaming or the best time to be a gamer type of deal. Sorry to steal your line, Pong.
We got to put a
just send a
copyright on
check.
that.
Just send
exactly
a check.
right. You know where to send it. PayPal, Cash App. We got it all. But anyway, I agree with you guys, man. Once again, chat, let us know how you guys feel about 2022 thus far. What do you guys feel about how it stacks up to the all-time great gaming years, and just we're just getting started. We're 2 months in. A lot of great things coming out, a lot of surprises on the way. I do expect a ton of stuff this summer from the big three: Nintendo, Sony, and Xbox. So it's going to be very exciting. Very, very, very exciting. So obviously we're wrapping up the first topic, man. Shout out to everybody in chat. Once again, hit the like button if you have not already. Subscribe to the channel. We appreciate you guys' continued support. So shout out to UK Lad as well, man. Appreciate you hanging out with us this evening, brother. So we're talking a little bit about Gran Turismo 7. A little bit about Gran Turismo 7. So where you guys at on this? And we're going to save you Fuzz for last. I know you're chomping at the bits. I'm getting this out the way early. We're going to save you for last. So just don't pop the cork yet. Just hold on a little bit. Give me a couple minutes. So we're going to start with our guest, though, Wilmy. Now, I know you're a bit of a car enthusiast as well. So where you at on Gran Turismo 7? Were you looking forward to it? What were your expectations? And have you played it? Where is it at versus your expectations if you have?
I don't play racers, really.
You don't play racers, okay?
No, I not really at all. I got tired of racers years ago. And from what I've seen, the game looks okay, but it's just not. Yeah, I don't really do racers.
All right, well, shoot. All right, 9. Well, shoot.
Give me an RPG or a shooter or something like that, and I'm good.
All right, well, no big deal there. Shoot. All right, well, let's go ahead and throw this over to you, Pong. So where you at on this? I mean, obviously, there's been some back and forth stuff about where Gran Turismo 7 is at versus expectations. So where you at on this?
Well, again, I'll always preface this. Don't have a PlayStation 5. Don't have hands-on with it. Obviously, I'll let Fuzzy do the hands-on stuff. But obviously, a Gran Turismo fan from the past. Obviously, going all the way back to the PlayStation days. When it was in its prime. We've seen it decline. We've talked about it here over the years. GT Sport being the last one, which felt like a partial game to me. So I was just hoping that Gran Turismo 7 would come back and at least start to feel like a complete game again. That's what I was really looking forward to. And I think it's done that in a lot of ways from what I've seen. Again, I've watched videos, listened to a bunch of reviews. I can only go by that. I don't have it in my hands.
Yeah.
I will say this, that obviously there are issues. Obviously, Sony, first of all, let me say this. Sony purposely hid the microtransactions in this game from the reviewers so that the reviewers would not talk about it, which is shady as all get out. Okay. I don't like it. Again, I don't care about microtransactions. Microtransactions to me are like whatever. They're optional as long as it's not pay to win, whatever. You can still earn the credits. And I'm sure that Fuzzy will speak on that, but you can earn the credits. You can buy the vehicles. But look, to go from GT Sport, where some of the cars were costing $5, and you set up your fan base with that expectation. I don't think anybody that played GT Sport that may have bought one or two favorite cars instead of trying to earn them, because obviously people do that, right? $5 here, $10 there, whatever, right? If you want something bad enough, cool. For them to have to pop in GT7 and to pull up the car list and see some of the cars costing $40, look, that's just clear wrong. Okay.
Wait a minute, $40 in real currency?
Yes. If you wanted to buy
Are you serious, dude?
Yes, I'm serious.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
Oh my God.
Yes.
That
yes.
is crazy.
That is absolutely insane. Again, do whatever you want to do, Sony and Polyphony. Again, microtransactions are what they are. Charge whatever you want to, but to not have them there so the reviewers could warn people, because again, we all here say, Meta who don't care about it for the most part. We don't care about reviews. They're just opinions at the end of the day. But there's a whole mass of people out there that aren't a part of this community that still go to your IGNs and go to places like that when they're looking up new games and read to see if it's something they're interested in. So for those people to go out and get Gran Turismo 7, pop that disc in, and then, like I said, see these cars going for 3 million credits, and then going, oh, okay, 3 million credits. Well, I really don't want to earn 3 million credits. Let me go to the store and buy some credits. and then start doing the math and going, wait a minute, this car's $40. Look, that's just, again, pure wrong. They did it on purpose. Now we found out today, another article came out from Push Square talking about how their legendary cars values are going to be based upon, I forget the company's name, but a real world company, insurance that deals in insurance for these high-end legendary collectible cars. Their values are going to fluctuate based upon this company's speculation.
So we're literally going to pay insurance for fucking virtual cars now?
Yeah, right. So
real car insurance is enough, man. I mean, come on, man.
It's stupid, but to have the values fluctuate in game based upon this company's evaluations, it's just crazy to me. So that's the stuff I want to call out first. I think it's valid criticism, and it's terrible, and I don't like this decision at all in any way, shape, or form. So
I'm glad I don't like racers.
Right. Right. You dodged a bullet on that one. And once again, this is not necessarily the dog pile on Polyphony.
No, not at all.
We have to make sure. I mean, if we're going to do this, we have to make sure we're doing it evenly across the board. You cannot cover up a part of the game or something that's integral, a feature of the game to skew the review. Like that's something that's just a no. So I don't think anybody, with any type of integrity. Oh yeah, absolutely. That's crazy. Exactly. Like what? How do you not have that available to the reviewer? To be part of their review. It's part of the game. Like it's a feature that people are gonna look for. So it's a bit crazy.
And we talked about Halo here during our shows too. And we called out that their armor sets were overpriced, right?
No, I did buy a couple armor sets on Halo, but I mean, at least I'm not paying virtual insurance on them.
That's true.
But no, we just, like you said, PTK, we got to call out when we call out, right? And we said the pricing on Halo was a little bit too much, right? And 343 adjusted because they heard the fans. So hopefully Sony and Polyphony will hear the fans on this and readjust this. But that's the one thing I do have to call out. Overall, from what I'm seeing of the game, though, they've done some really great things, and they've seemed to, again, to have this time around between the cars and the tracks to have made a more complete Gran Turismo than we've seen over the past couple iterations, which to me is a step forward. Presentation-wise, like I said, I will always love Gran Turismo. I said that previously when we talked about this. There is something very classy about the Gran Turismo presentation. Polyphony is a dev team that's filled with people who love cars, love the history of cars, and it shows through. Not to say Turn 10 isn't that same. They are, obviously, with the details they put in there. Polyphony just originally with Gran Turismo, I respect their place for bringing simulation racing to the forefront and setting the bar really high.
Well, I got one question.
Go ahead.
Do you get the Flow edition or do you get the Geico edition when you?
I get the Affleck edition. Will I'm gonna go Affleck.
Okay. I'm just curious now.
Yeah. So
sorry.
No, not at all, Lily. That's fine, man. I just think that for the way that they present things, and they have like the museum and they have all the history of these vehicles, that's not going to be for everybody. That's for the car lovers out there, right? That really want to get down and dirty. But that's me. So that stuff is what I appreciate, and I appreciate all the polish they put into what they do when they launch a Gran Turismo. And again, this one seems to have even more of that, like the old days, like the Gran Turismo A-Spec days, right? That's when I was loving Gran Turismo. So from that standpoint, I would definitely, if I had a PlayStation 5, be picking this up, knowing even all the problems we've had. Now, we've seen a lot of videos where they have some very questionable physics going on. Polyphony, to say the least. Yes, the barrel roll. Exactly. Ridiculous. Polyphony has never been spot on with physics. In a lot of instances. And I don't think that they've done enough internally to fix their physics when it comes to these games. I wish they would concentrate more on that.
You think it's an engine problem?
It might be an engine problem. It might be just a coding problem where they just don't take the time. Like they spend so much time on the details of the individual cars. Yeah. Like again, Polyphony takes forever. We probably won't see another Gran Turismo this generation. Even if this generation lasts as long. Yeah,
next time you do, the cars will be $400.
Right, exactly. so they spend so much time on the details in the vehicles, which I do appreciate, but they seem to lack in other areas because of that. We've seen the environments; they're not even close to even
some of those crowd
the
models
crowds are
pretty
PS2
suspect.
assets. Those are like PS2 assets.
Ridge Racer out there.
Yeah, it's
Ridge.
crazy.
Yeah.
But overall, again, scores looking good. There was stuff hidden. It's about the racing. I can't tell you if the sense of speed is better. That's always a problem that I've had with Gran Turismo is the sense of speed. It's never matched what Forza created in that way. So for me, I'd still like to see it. I've heard some reviewers say they definitely improved it, but again, without hands-on, I can't speak to that. Some of the videos I've seen, I've been like, I don't know if this really looks that great. The cars also look stiff compared to Forza.
That's what I was talking about. There seems to be they seem to be on a center line, and they don't veer off the center line very much
because there's
stiffness.
There's natural motion, and each individual car, depending on suspension, is going to have a natural motion to it that is different on different tracks, different roads, different settings. And with Gran Turismo, it never seems to
be a bit rarely
that there's anything different. Now, Fuzzy may be able to speak to that. He's probably driven a ton of the different cars and different tracks there in different conditions. But for me, it just still seems like they are behind the times when it comes to what Forza has done. But overall, again, Gran Turismo is what it is. I love the presentation. I love what they've done. And I would certainly pick this up if I had a PS5. So I'm happy that they've taken a step forward. It just feels like they're going to, when the new Forza Motorsport hits, whether it's this year or next year, it feels like they're going to be way behind, and we're going to have to wait another entire generation before we see if they can catch up at all. Forza will remain king, but at the end of the day, Gran Turismo, for all the PlayStation owners out there, hey, props off. There's a huge fan base for it, and I'm glad that it seems like they did pick it up a little bit here. So.
And to give credit where credit is due, because we want to make sure we do that here at the Shop Podcast. We don't want to just dogpile. So they again, I've heard the same thing. Now, I haven't played. We're all deferring to Fuzz on this, by the way, chat. So we're really putting this all on Fuzz's shoulder. If you want to hear a review, this is going to be your review, your impromptu review. But I'm seeing the same thing though, for real. I'm seeing the same thing. There's a lot of improvement. The game does move forward. The game does feel like a move forward, but there are some things that are a bit shaky. There are some things that could have been cleaned up. Like you said, they do focus on a lot of the details, but seem to miss some of the a couple more obvious things that you would think from the videos I've seen, and I've looked at and watched on YouTube. The cars seem to be, on a rail. It's sort of, the way they move, the way they drive, the suspension. So, once again, we're deferring to Fuzz on this. So, go ahead, Fuzz. Where you at on this, bro? I mean, I'm sure you put a ton of hours in.
Oh yeah, I don't want to make it seem like I'm piling on. It is definitely an improvement over GT Sport in every way, shape, and form. Now, there are some things that I wish they would have done differently, and it's more of like I wouldn't say a design issue. It's more of like a quality of life type menuing, or certain things they could have done a bit better or not as well explained. But as far as the pros of the game, I would say visuals are the biggest thing. The ray tracing now, although not in game or not in gameplay, is a big help as far as your Scapes photos, which they are top notch. Like Scapes is one of those things that I kind of wish Forza had, but it's not as necessary. Like, I'm not buying this game to be a car photographer, but
some
the
people
Scapes
do.
Is a huge. It's a huge draw, and it's it's that eye candy that people love. I wish the quality of the gameplay looked like that during gameplay, but that I think we would need double the horsepower we have in these consoles, and some of the PCs might even struggle to replicate that. But that's a whole nother topic. But visually, it's definitely an improvement, and their replay system, the visuals for their replay, I hold above Forza, and that's one of the few things that I hold above Forza from that, as far as the visual detail. Although, yes, the crowds and things like that aren't always on par. Like, you'll see certain things on the immediate peripheral when you're racing in Forza, whether it be Motorsport or even Horizon, that are going to be a bit more detailed as far as the people. But you dig further into the crowd, and they're a lot more, cardboard cutout kind of thing. And that's the same case even with GT Sport. It's like the stuff that's right by the fence is going to be a little bit more detailed than the ones in the cheap seats of the track and stuff like that. But overall, visually, it is an improvement. Gameplay wise, it is a notch down from replays, definitely a few notches down from their escape. So anyone that sits up there and wants to compare it, it's unfair to compare Horizon for a number of reasons, but let's just, even though it's a 5-year-old game, we can look at Forza Motorsport 7. Visually, gameplay wise, on a PS5, I haven't really seen what it looks like on a PS4, but on a PS5, when you have a 4K TV and OLED, although I don't have the 120 frame C1, I have an earlier model, but overall, I would say it's pretty close, or it's a good bit better than what GT Sport was, and I held GT Sport a notch down from Motorsport 7. GT7 now, I would say overall is on par, except for when it comes to rain in gameplay. Rain in replay, I would give it to GT7 as far as the visuals, but during gameplay, I still give it to Motorsport as far as racing in the rain. Now, as far as the stiffness that a lot of people see in the cars, there are some adjustments you can do. Whether you prefer racing in cab or the chase view, which I like to do the chase view a lot. If you want that more Forza feel where you see the body roll and it doesn't feel like the car is as on rails, or like that old kid game where it was like the car was on a stick and you would just turn the wheel and it would move left and right on the screen kind of thing. If you want to adjust that, there's what they call like the settings for offset for the camera, and then like the overall maximum and minimum as far as the tracking. If you set it to both of them to the minimums, it'll feel a little bit more like Forza when you're driving in the chase view. As far as for the in-car view, you're going to want to adjust your seating position. You may want to get a little bit closer to the wheel and a little bit lower as far as the seating position, because it kind of has it where your head would almost poke through the ceiling for some of the views for some of the cars. But outside of that, if you're going from Forza Motorsport to GT, I would say definitely look at those adjustments first. So that way it's not as stiff or kind of blandish. Like it's hard to describe, but a lot of people have seen like the videos where it does look a bit stiff. You can tweak that a bit. It's not going to be one for one, but it will be a lot closer. Yeah. Now, other things, the DualSense, I can't stress this enough. When it came to the haptic triggers on the Elite controller, which I believe they called them haptic triggers way back when the Elites first came out, they finally have an equivalent in with the DualSense for this racing game. Because before, when you would do races in Motorsport, let's say you're racing in the rain, you hit a puddle, you would feel when your tires hit that puddle how it wants to like pull the car or adjust the feel as far as the undulation of the tires, or like almost like the hydroplaning feel that you would get where basically you hit the brakes and it just feels like it goes to the floor because you're sliding type of thing. That's been in Motorsport for some time, and it's even in Horizon, although I think it's dialed down a bit. But if you have an Elite controller, and I guess even the basic controllers now for the new consoles have that same feedback, but the DualSense takes it up just a notch outside of just the triggers. So when you have the rumble, as far as the rumble strips, you'll feel it in the entire controller or the side of the controller where the tires are hitting. Before, with Motorsport, you would just feel it in the trigger, like the brake or gas pedal, pretty much, which was sufficient for me. But the DualSense takes it up a notch as far as spreading it out throughout the controller, so you get a little bit more immersion as far as the feel in your hands. It's probably going to be better to race with a steering wheel. I have a steering wheel for my Xbox. I don't have one, and I don't want to do like the adapter for my PlayStation, but nonetheless, the DualSense is a huge improvement compared to GT Sport, where they didn't enable the DualSense for that. So feel wise, I would say GT is finally caught up to some of the feels that you may have with a controller as far as racing.
Fuzz, can I
battery
ask
life.
you? Fuzz,
Oh,
can I
yeah,
ask
go
you
ahead.
real quick? Did you try the steering wheel mode for the DualSense
Yes.
at all? Okay, because ACG said it was amazing. He said he wasn't
It
expecting anything, but he said it actually is really, really good.
It is. I used it for a while, but I found myself wind up making too much contact in like the close corners. So it's
Okay.
even though like there is a good bit of precision and I didn't want to spend as much time turning down or adjusting the sensitivity, you could do basically the air steering wheel with the controller and it works very well. It's just that when you come out of a turn sometimes, I get the sense, especially if I'm close to cars, that it's a little less stable. So I used it for a bit. It's a good in between, but I'm going to the sticks for right now as far as for a lot more of the races so I can get that clean racing bonus because I was sideswiping a little bit too many cars doing the air steering wheel. But it is a very good alternative, and I would like to see more things like that in the future as far as at least having it as an option for people to try because I think it is a good in between. If you're not going to have a steering wheel, have that air steering wheel with the gyro and the controller is pretty cool. But control wise, there's definite improvements that they've made with GT in comparison. Now, a lot of people that usually say, oh, GT is superior to Forza, a lot of those are going to say that from a steering wheel standpoint. And I can see in some cases when you get used to one, you like that certain feel, but I'm still more of a fan of motorsport as far as it feels like the car is in the track instead of just kind of sometimes sliding across the track. Another big thing that's cool for GT7 is the time of day progression and even weather progression. Like, I can't stress this enough. Like, even though Forza does a awesome sky stuff for their Horizon games, Motorsport was always like a baked in, non-adjusted. Like you either racing in the daytime or you're racing at night.
Yeah.
There was no like transition. You can now do that transition in GT, which I hope Motorsport 8 or Motorsport Next or whatever they call it takes that same initiative. And I think some of the devs had talked about that on Twitter when they first mentioned that it was a new engine and all that, that they were going to work on things like that. But
Yeah.
it's great to start in the daytime and go to night, especially on tracks that have lights, obviously.
Yeah.
Or to go from dry track to rain and then it stops raining, or it's just raining in a certain section of the track. Like if you're racing not the full Nürburgring, but just the smaller like circuit track, you'll have in certain corners where it's raining and it's like you can see how the clouds are, you can see how the track is a little moist on the outskirts of where it's directly raining, and then you go
Yeah.
through that, and if you didn't do the intermediate tires as opposed to slicks, you're going to have a hard time controlling that car. But I like that they have a more realistic weather and time of day thing. It's almost like what people experience in Flight Sim now being
Yeah.
applied to a racing game. And I hope Motorsport picks up that same deal. And I'm pretty sure they will. Another cool thing is the paintable racing suits and helmets. And I know I've mentioned this before. Yes, you can get a regular racing suit in Motorsport, but sometimes you don't want to look like a clown or an astronaut or the Statue of Liberty or any of the custom
ballerina.
Yeah, right.
that they put in the game. I mean, some of them are cool and it's funny to have those, but it's like, and I know there's a bit of people out there that are like, what do you care that the driver has, you know, a regular racing suit or funny racing suit? Well, at the end of the race, they show you pumping your fists or especially in motorsport, you're on the podium. So I want to have what I would consider a real racing suit and not something that's comical for comic relief. It's fine for Horizon. Chicken suit, yeah.
Oh,
No
I mean, you don't want
problem.
to see him doing that weird little dance, and
Yeah.
Running Man and all that stuff. Okay. I thought it was just me.
But with GT7, they just it's more of a still shot. So whatever your suit and helmet are, that's what you'll see. Like somebody holding up their fist or whatever, or like, yeah, I won. Or if you're second or third, it's like you're kind of walking away from the car with your head up, but
Yeah.
not like really proud that you finished second or third type of thing. But I like that you can make your own driving suits, and I got to finish my Forza outfit or my Xbox racing suit on there. Last time I did that for GT Sport, and a lot of people seem to download it, so I'm gonna see if I can get some more downloads in GT7 doing that same deal. But having that, I hope Motorsport picks that up as well. One of the last good things I'm going to mention, and even Ponga touched on this, it's the presentation of like the hub world and the menus and the overall aesthetic that they have when you go from like the used car lot looks almost like a newspaper ad versus when you go to Brand Central, it's like you're walking into a mall and then you go to the actual like virtual dealership basically. And then the same thing when you're going to like the, I guess you could say the mechanic shop, which I'll get into more how they could have probably narrowed some of this stuff down. But overall, the presentation and the cafe itself, it feels like you're going to a Starbucks after a car meet. Like if you've ever gone to like a cars and coffee type of thing, being a car enthusiast, you get those same feels and that overall same look, but on a higher end. Because I usually only went to Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks. This is more like a fancy smancy type of coffee shop. But all of those are cool add-ons. And then the rest of the stuff is a competent motor or is a competent Gran Turismo game. So if you were a fan of sport and wanted a more complete game, this is it. Few quick things to touch on. Yes, there are very few newer model cars, but they will continue to add cars. Now, if they follow the same model that they did with GT Sport, which they kind of look like they may be deviating from considering the pricing. But in the past with GT Sport, they would add a couple of cars every couple of months or so. So hopefully they add like the new Corvette or the newest Ferraris or the newest Lamborghinis over time, hopefully wind up in the game.
And you only pay $50 each for those.
Hopefully not. Hopefully they're still earnable.
Take out a loan for my virtual cars at this point.
Hopefully they're still
hopefully you don't have to buy virtual gas.
Well, they do have virtual oil changes and car washes, which that is a carryover from the original game, which now seems kind of weird, but I'm glad they're not doing the whole maintenance fee like with Grand Theft Auto does for like online. Like if you have the yacht or something like that, there's like a maintenance fee or a dock fee or something like that of 50,000 or so. So luckily, at least for now, they haven't added too many of those exorbitant fees. But yeah, the menu stuff, presentation is awesome. Now getting into the nuts and bolts of it, as far as the gripes I have, progression seems like it's been altered to kind of funnel you to the microtransactions. I don't want to say it's completely blatant, but when they send you an invite to buy cars, because like in real life, if you want a certain Ferrari, you could have all the money in the world. If they don't invite you to buy that particular Ferrari, you can't buy it, no matter how much money. Now, you might have to find somebody to buy it for you that is authorized to buy the car and then buy it off of them. But nobody really wants to do that. But when it comes to the invite system, there are certain high-end cars that no matter how much money you have in your in-game credits, you can't buy until you get the invite. Well, it seems like the invites, at least the ones I've gotten, are all for ones that are beyond what my current budget is. So I originally had 1.5 million because of the pre-order.
Imagine that.
I'm now down to about 800,000, and they send me an invite to buy a $2.2 million car. It's like, and then it gives you like a little note. Oh, if your credits are low, you can top them off by clicking this button. And then it gives you like the whole microtransaction thing where it's from like $10 to $20 for like a couple mil or something like that, which they did reduce the amount you got per dollar. And then they increased the price of the cars in comparison. So it does seem like, even though you can still earn all this stuff in game, it does feel like they try to not really put the screws to you, but at least crank that up to make a bigger profit margin, let's just say. But aside from the microtransaction stuff, progression, certain things like car tuning and painting, you won't be able to do right off the bat. I can understand maybe the tuning. You should probably get a license or something like that, or win some races or whatnot. No, you have to buy more cars to unlock that. So the progression is based more around your car collection, and that car collection number is what unlocks other things, which in Horizon and in Motorsport, when they had that type of car collection ranking system, well, they were giving you cars in wheel spins and stuff like that. The only real giveaway cars that you get now is if you race a certain amount of miles in a day. So if you do more than 26 miles in racing in a day, you'll get a chance to win a car. You could win as little as $1,000, or you could win like a car that's below 50,000 usually, is from what I've seen. The other way is to go through the cafe and complete the menus, and they'll give you cars with that. And it means you win a race, but you usually have to buy like either a mid-level car or a crappy car that you may not want to enter these races and then tune it up a bit and stuff. But
so you're going to end up eventually having to put out real money to get a decent car.
If you're looking to collect every car, it's probably going to get to the point where you're going to have to spend real money. And the thing that I hate the most about it is they have a cap of how much you can have. You can only keep up to 20 mil. Now, the only reason why I know this is it was a problem with GT Sport. And once I reached 20 mil, I kind of stopped playing GT Sport, because you win another race. Hey, where's my $150,000 payout? Oh, no, you're capped at 20 mil. The most expensive cars are 20 mil. So why keep the cap at the price of the highest car? It's like I buy the car and then I can't modify it. It just feels weird that they would have that cap. It's like if the most expensive car is 20 million, the cap should be double that, so that way you could buy the car, modify it, and whatnot. But there's some little weird nuanced things like that in there. The menu for like getting the car washed and doing the oil change and widening the fenders are all under the same section of the mechanic shop. But if you want to paint the car, it's in a different section. So if you want to switch between them, so like let's say you want to widen the fenders after you were already putting some stickers on the roof, well, you'd have to exit out of the menu to go back into the menu to pick the widening of the fenders. And then when you want to finish painting the rest of the car or putting stickers on the rest of the car, you have to exit out of that same section and then go back in it and then pick the painting portion. And then it's the same thing for the driver's suit, which the driver's suit in sport used to be attached to your garage. Now the garage is separate from where your suit is and where you could put the paint schemes on the car. So there is some convoluted stuff going on as far as the menus to kind of break things up, but some of it isn't as intuitive, let's just say.
Yeah.
But overall, if you're a car enthusiast, it's a fun game. If you're willing to push through some of the BS in the beginning, just understand buying cars is the best way to level up as opposed to winning races or earning licenses. So it seems counterintuitive to the car enthusiasts or of the old Gran Turismos, where it was all about the licenses. The licenses would qualify you to enter races, and then you'd buy the cars to get into the. Now, just buy the cars first, which I guess kind of ties into using the real money to buy the cars, and then you go win the races. And then you can, go from there. And now that'll level you up a lot faster than doing the normal grind of the way it used to be. So it's a mixed bag. I'm still having fun with it, as you'll see. I'm posting a lot of little clips on Twitter and YouTube and whatnot. It's still fun because I'm a car enthusiast, but it does have some things that I think need changing or updating or tweaking or something. It kind of feels like Polyphony wanted to do an extra year or two of doing those fine details, and Sony was kind of like, chop, let's get this thing out. We need to make the money now. You guys missed the PS4 time frame. We need this for PS5. Get it out the door. Let's go, type of thing. But
so it does almost feel like it's pay to play.
Yeah, there is some inkling of that, because like I said, I've only made 2.5 mil on top of the 1.5 mil, and I have roughly 20 plus hours in it. Wow. So it took me that long to get 2 mil. And I'm now starting to do the more expensive championship races or ones where you would get more money, but then you need to have a $300,000 car or $500,000 car to get into those races. So it just feels just a smidge more grindy.
Sounds like it's more pay to win.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely heading in that direction.
Well, thank you, Fuzzy, because I thought I might actually just buy it because I buy so many different games. Well, you just changed that for me, sir.
If you need any type of car breakdown of any sort, you know where to go. So, chat, we already knew where this was going before we started this topic. As soon as I wrote this down, I knew exactly where this was going. So, Fuzz gave you that complete breakdown. Fuzz, that was a great opportunity for like a YouTube video, bro. We would love one of those too, Fuzz. Just putting it out there.
I really need to put something together. That's kind of my thoughts on it.
But he's
Pong,
trying to
get on
earn
him,
money
Pong.
right now.
Pong, get on him. You got to get on top of him, Pong.
Hey,
we got.
Look, I don't know, Fuzz. I don't know if you were in chat this morning on on Living Split Screen, but man, we had people in there because we were quoting you from our DMs, and I was giving you props. And there was people in the chat because I pumped up tonight's show, and I said, "Hey, if you want to know about GT7, you got to drop by the Shop podcast because Fuzzy's going to be live." And people were honestly asking in our chat, "Is he going to do a video on this? If he knows that much, he should be doing a video. I'd watch it. I want to see what's going on."
I mean, come on now. I mean. So
it's got RC Black Rider. I think when the next Motorsport comes out, I think if they do most of the stuff they've been doing and just update the weather a little bit, update the time of day, I think they have something that will beat GT7 in my opinion. Visually, it might be pins and needles between the two because they're both going to have ray tracing. We'll just see if Motorsport has it in game or during gameplay, which I kind of think they will in one of their like a ray trace performance mode or something. But we'll see.
All right. Well, once again, that was your full comprehensive breakdown, free of charge. You better catch it before he starts charging people. We'll put a price tag on that thing real quick. So once again, everybody, shout out to everybody watching live. Z Black, Boba Fett, Nix, Chris Jones, shout out to you. Everybody in the chat, man, hit the like button if you have not already. And appreciate you guys hanging out with us, man. So we are moving on to the next topic. So we're talking a little bit of Sega stuff, right? So I know a lot of us in chat are Sega kids. So shout out to all the Sega kids hanging out in chat. I know I was a big Sega kid myself growing up. So we're talking a little bit about some information that dropped earlier this week. One of the lesser, talked about bits of information as far as from what I can tell. So RGG Studio, Yakuza, the makers of Yakuza, are working on a ton of unannounced Sega games. So that's really exciting. Obviously, Sega's been in the news for various different reasons. A lot of times attached to Xbox, attached to Microsoft. Obviously, we're not going to go there tonight, but just want to get on top of this and see where you're at on this. Wilmy, had you heard of this? Or is any of that interest you at all?
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. When Sega came out, I was kind of overseas, so I kind of missed out on the whole Sega generation.
Okay, got it. No, understandable. Okay, all right. So we'll defer to you on this one, Paul, because I know you sent this out actually to the DMs, man. So you've been a big proponent of having the Yakuza games. The Yakuza games are on Xbox, but things like Persona on Xbox as well. So where you at on hearing about all these unannounced games that RGG Studio is making for Sega?
Well, absolutely great news to hear, right? And it kind of lends itself back to what we've been hearing when Sega put the Yakuza series onto Game Pass. They came out publicly and said what an uplift it was. And it's created a whole new fan base that they didn't have before. And we've talked about this at length, PTK, about the need. Again, they're not for everybody. The Eastern style games aren't for everybody. And a lot of the JRPGs are niche and they're not for everybody. But at the end of the day, if you're going to develop new fan bases and if you're going to extend the popularity of your titles, you have to look to areas that maybe you weren't in before. And obviously, Sega's no stranger to Xbox in any way, shape, or form. But some of their games, like the Yakuzas, really had never been known on Xbox. And so when they put them in there and saw the success, I think that opened their eyes. And obviously, we saw the deal earlier, or I should say last year with Sega and Xbox working on, obviously the resources of Xbox, the cloud, all that kind of stuff, working on this new big giant initiative that Sega has. They're trying to create, a big open type of almost sounds like MMO style game or games, and they're partnering with Xbox to help them on the back end. And we all talked about it at that time that obviously Xbox and Sega already have a close relationship, but something like that, a partnership in that direction, only strengthens those ties, and we might see some good come out of that. Now, we have no idea what these games are. Like they said, they're unannounced. But you got to believe that a lot of this goes directly back to the success that they saw from Yakuza. Yakuza Like a Dragon, of all things, which is more of a turn-based style Yakuza, which a lot of people always, kind of when you say turn-based, they kind of go, ugh. But Yakuza Like a Dragon blew up, and a part of that was Xbox. It was on Xbox first before it even hit PlayStation, right? So Xbox got that right at the beginning of the series launch window. So therefore, they've seen continuous success here. So I think going back and with all of this newfound love, I think they really looked at it and said, why are we limiting ourselves here? Let's start expanding out. Let's start developing new titles. And we're seeing Sega on that upswing. Now, is it a Capcom upswing? Probably not as of yet, but we've got a new Sonic coming out that is more open world and all this kind of stuff.
That looks interesting.
Look, Sega started this years ago. They came out with an announcement on Twitter in 2019, I want to say, when they said that we're going to start going back to our back catalog and we're going to start bringing things forward. We're going to start looking at making more games. This really could be the start of Sega's comeback, where Sega starts to really assert itself again in the gaming industry. We had a long stretch there where Sega was just kind of in the background. Of course, Sega is always, the name is always known. Sonic is always still one of the most iconic characters out there in the world. We saw what the movies did. So, or I should say the movie, and now we got number 2 in the works coming. That it all lends itself to Sega returning to form again. Now, obviously, in my dream scenario, eventually we get to the point where Sega's strong enough that they can create a new console, but we know that's probably not going to happen.
That's a bit of a stretch. Yeah,
that's a bit of a stretch.
We're all the way in speculation town. I woke up.
But at the end of the day, Sega just needs to get back to doing what they did best, which was making some of the greatest games that we had seen for its time back during the Dreamcast era. And then obviously, throughout history, I mean, Genesis, all of that stuff, but to get back to being the game publisher that they were and the game maker that they were. And I think they're on that road right now. That's why we're starting to hear this news like this. That excites the hell out of me, PTK. And it as a Sega fan. That's what I want to see, because the more success that Sega has, the more chance that we do have to see that back catalog of those dormant IPs that have been lounging around, not doing anything, coming back to the forefront again and maybe getting a new life. Again, golden age of gaming. We've already seen it. We're seeing other franchises that have been dormant for a very long time start to be remade again, because everybody's looking for content. And it's a situation where you've got all this well-known and even some lesser known IPs sitting around that have been collecting dust that you can go back to as a game content creator, and you can go and sit there and reimagine it for nowadays and bring it to these new, more powerful consoles. And all of a sudden you give new life to something that maybe back in the day was really popular, or maybe just a little bit less popular, but still holds some meaning. So then all of a sudden you've got a generation like myself, an older gamer who has seen these games, go, oh my God, they're bringing this back. Yes. And then you've got a brand new fan base that may not even know what that's about, but maybe they've heard about it, and all of a sudden they're interested in it. And all of a sudden you develop all these new gamers that we've seen come into this industry. You develop them into fans of that. And I think Sega right now is going to capitalize on that. Like I said, the new Sonic game coming out is capitalizing on the movie success, and hopefully it hits. Hopefully we get a classic Sonic, but in a more open world, which a lot of people have been clamoring for. It's going to be fantastic. I think it looks great already. And then you've got their companies like this, the Yakuza developers, who are seeing the success as well, going, hey, let's jump on this. Let's capitalize on our popularity that we just gained, all these new fans of the Yakuzas, and let's really put the work in and create some maybe new IP, or maybe some spin-offs like a Dragon was of Yakuza. It's not a mainline Yakuza, it's a spin-off, but now they've got a whole new franchise that they can develop for because of how successful it was. So why not capitalize on all that? Get going, start making some new games. This news excites the hell out of me. Again, it all goes back to the golden age of gaming, more money, more people involved in this industry than any time in history, so that developers like this can just say, hey, let's go for it. Let's get back to that 360 era where we had all this diversity of games, all these brand new ideas coming out, crazy games that we never thought we'd see come out and be successful. Let's get back to that again. That's a part of this right here. So I can't wait to hear what they have to say. It sounds like by putting this out, by speaking on it, come around E3 time, we might see some new Sega titles, which would be freaking ridiculously
I'm
good.
super hopeful.
Yes,
I'm super hopeful.
I am hyped for this.
This excites me. This excites me quite a bit. Sega kids, stand up in the chat, by the way. Let me know if you were a Sega kid. Let us know if you were a Sega kid in chat. I used to hate Mario. I swear to God, I hated Mario back in the day.
I still
no,
do.
But no, I'm just playing. I didn't hate Mario, but either way, shout out to all the Sega kids, man. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us, man. But yeah, so this is something that's very, very interesting because once again, you talk about diversity, right? And that's kind of where we're going with this, right? So it as long as it benefits us as gamers, I'm all for it. So I'm all for Sega making more IPs, older IPs coming back. They got a treasure trove of IPs, a war chest full of games, old, semi-old that they could bring back and reiterate, and these games would be brand new to a large group of people. So I'm super interested in this. So Fuzz, we're gonna get your opinion on before we move on to the next topic, bro. So where you at on this? Obviously, Sega's been in the news for various different reasons, a lot of times linked to Xbox, but where you at on this new news?
I'm glad to hear that they're definitely working on some new games. I know we had heard earlier in the year about the super game or type of deal, but like exactly like what Pong was saying, considering how well the Yakuza series did on Xbox and how much that helped their overall bottom line, I'm glad that they're now, I guess, kind of reinvesting that into making more games like that, or building more of those games, and having them on multiple platforms, let's say. But it's about time, I guess you could say, because I know a lot of us have asked for Yakuza for years, and then when it finally showed up, was it Justice, and I forget the other one, but still waiting on Persona, but it is what it is. But
that's I don't know about, like, I don't know if that's ever even going to be ever a thing. That's one of the more weird situations.
That's more of an Atlas division, I guess, type of thing.
It's because I feel like Atlas and Sega is more of a partnership. It's not a, hey, we are the parent company and we can dictate. It's an autonomous relationship. We operate under Sega. That's about it. Sega has no influence over what Atlas does, where they put their games at all. Because I've always wondered why Persona's never come over. I always thought the easy answer is, well, because Japanese games don't sell on Xbox. That's the easy answer. But I always thought it was some other reason, or there was some other reason why they didn't bring it over. But anyway, that's me going on my little Atlas rant. But go ahead.
No, but it's great to see that they're working on new stuff, and hopefully we'll see some of the fruits of that here pretty soon. But it's a good move forward as far as for RGG Studio. So I'm glad that they're active now, or a lot more active than they've been over the years.
Yeah, absolutely.
We are getting an Atlas game, PTK. Don't forget Soul Hackers.
Well,
yeah,
you're right. I'm sorry.
August 26, 2022.
Look, see, I'm speaking out of turn here. Yeah, I got to mark it on the calendar. So you're right about that. I forgot about that. So all right. So cool, awesome, man. Once again, chat, appreciate you guys hanging out with us, man. Chat's lit today as usual. Let us know how you guys feel about the topics. Hit the like button. It definitely helps the podcast be seen, or more eyeballs on the podcast, the more we can do this, man. So appreciate you guys. So now we're actually getting to what I'm sure everybody in the chat figured we would already be talking about by this point. And that's a little bit about this little small game called Elden Ring that came out. Not sure if anybody heard of it. It's kind of under the radar. I don't know if any of you guys played it at all. But just about the overall success. And this is something that's crazy for me, because I tend to be a contrarian, Paul, right? Like, not on purpose, right? I don't mean to be that way, but for all of the praise that Elden Ring was getting, I wanted to be the one that's like, you know what? I'm going to wait, just because it's getting so much praise. I'm going to wait on this game. And this is me being 100% honest. I'm going to wait and really see if people stick to this game. But I don't know if I can wait anymore. I don't know if that's how big of an impact this had, Pong, and I'm resisting. I'm actively resisting. Like, I'm trying.
You saw it set new records again.
No. Listen. It's not even about that, Pong. It's about regular people
Yeah.
consistently in my timeline like, bro, I do not play this game. I do not like these kind of games, but I've sat up 8 hours playing this game straight.
Correct.
Look at Wilmy. I mean,
That was
Wilmy
me.
plays this kind of games. I mean, you're kind of a RPG-ish dark, it's kind of in that same vein, but I know you have a testimony here as well, but it's undeniable at this point, Pong. You cannot have that level of conversion from people saying I do not play this game to the next day saying I played this game 10 hours straight. I do not remember the last time this has happened.
It's
I don't remember.
It's few and far between, right? It's a phenomenon. It's a
I don't
phenomenon.
remember.
It's
crazy.
very rare.
It's very rare. I mean, I don't know if you count something like a Fortnite or something, but it's very rare.
No, this is
different. Like it's. I mean, but this is rare, like super rare. This doesn't happen. So it can't just be hype it at a certain point, right? Like that's my thing. Like for everybody saying that, oh well, it has flaws. I get it, but it can't be what it currently is just because people are like hyping it. It's no way.
I'll give you a perfect example, PTK. Who was on our show last week? Everborn.
Everborn, yes.
Mm-hmm. Talking about how much he despised it. Guess who's been posting stuff all
50
week?
hours in, bro. I think he's 50 hours in, bro.
Everborn.
He's 50 hours in, bro. I think the last update we got from Everborn, if somebody may want to send him a care package, last update we got from the bunker over there was that he was about 50 hours in, I believe. So that's what I'm talking. The conversion. I'm seeing constant people being like it's their souls have been snatched. Like not literally, but it's changing the way people view video games. Like I haven't seen this level of like excitement, and people are like unified. It's unified.
It hit a niche in me that I just haven't. I don't know, because to me, I say it all the time. A lot of games have became copy and paste.
Good point. That's
a lot of the games we've gotten over the last few years are copy and paste, and with this one, it just completely just shits in the face of all that. It's completely different than every game I've played in a very long time. So that's what got me into it.
That goes a lot from you though, Wilmy. That's what I'm talking about. Wilmy, you buy everything like that looks interesting to you. You play everything that looks interesting to you. And for you to say that, your money goes a long way, Wilmy. You're not one of those people that throw your $60 or $70 down. You have some sort of like, you've done your research.
No, actually, I am that type of person. I buy a lot of games and I play for 15 minutes and God sucks and delete it.
Well, what I'm
that happens to me a lot, dude.
But ultimately, this game sucks you in. Like, even though you're not, maybe this is not the type of game you normally would sit down and play for a long period of time. I'm seeing people that don't play this type of game at all and swore against it.
I was one of them.
Yeah.
I told all my crew, I was like, I'm not buying that. There's no reason for me to buy it. I'll never play it. And I gave away like 5 copies of it last week. And I was like, I'm going to try the damn thing. So I bought a copy for myself and I was like, holy shit. And yeah, Nick's anything is better than Martha is Dead. But see, that proves I'll buy anything. But the game it like I said, the first hour, I was hooked. And
so what is it, Wilmy? Tell what is it? Tell what is it? Was there a moment, or is it just something about the game? Is it the gameplay loop? Like what is it that's like undeniable?
The environments are crazy. And on top of that, the combat, it actually feels like it just works. You have to learn how to use it. I mean, you just can't run up and mash buttons and hope to, win, because you're not. And it takes a lot of thought. You got to be tactical on this game. And you have to pre-plan. A lot of games you just kind of, let's face it, a lot of games you just shit your way through most of them anymore. You're not doing that with this game, dude. It's just not going to work. And you can get cocky and you can be like, oh, yeah, you're going to get your ass whipped. This game will, especially if you're an older gamer and this is what you grew up playing. That was it. The combat just really feels fluid to me. And it feels like you're actually accomplishing something when you take down a boss. Even if it's just a mini boss, you actually get a little bit of an accomplishment out of it. And I'm a huge fan of Dying Light 2. I finally finished it this morning. I've got like 90 some hours into the game and I loved every minute of it. But there's a difference between playing that game and taking down a boss on Elden Ring. It's a different type of feeling.
Man, see, it almost sounds like magic when people talk about it. That's the crazy thing.
It kind of is. I mean, and I guess in a way it kind of is. It just, I mean, like I said, man, I played it that night, and I'm like, I told my wife, I'm like, well, I'll be in bed, I'll come to bed here shortly.
Yeah,
yeah, right. Yeah, it didn't happen. It's like 5 o'clock the next morning. Luckily, I'm self-employed. But I wound up playing it till 5 a.m. and I could not set the controller down.
Jeez. Wow. So see, and that's the constant test. You hear that every single day. I'm seeing it ever since this game's come out. Since the reviews dropped, I am seeing that every single day.
Matter of fact,
it's been
Mr.
nothing but
Boomstick.
Yeah, Boomstick.
Same
game
way.
of the year for him. Yeah, he said game of the year, easy, not even close. Not even
he
close.
said he would never play a game like that either.
Yeah.
And yeah. I mean, I'm serious, man. If you've not played it, and some people won't play it. I mean, it is not an easy game, but just the combat just really feels, I don't know, man. It just really felt great. Once you learn the combat, you learn how to, move your character.
Yeah.
It's
what
just,
class are you playing, Wilmy?
I think I'm the hero.
Hero? Okay.
Yeah. And I'm going to create another character. I'm hearing a lot of, talk about other characters.
Oh, yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, this is a game I do plan on. As soon as I finish Horizon Zero Dawn, I'm right back into this one.
Awesome. And once again, chat, let me know in the chat if you guys are playing Elden Ring. Let me know how far you're into Elden Ring, what class you're using. Just give me a quick breakdown, chat, on what's going on with you guys if you're playing the game. How much you're playing it, all of that fun stuff, man. Because it's been nonstop Elden Ring. Like that train has been off the rails since the game came out, and
I'm happy to see it.
I am too. It's a good breath of fresh air. It feels really good.
Because everybody's not bitching and complaining about everything for a few minutes.
Dude, that's crazy. That if that's his biggest accomplishment, right? That has to be hands down the biggest accomplishment. Everybody's on the same page that this game is awesome, and you do not see that ever.
Yeah, it ever keeps away some of the console warriors for a little bit.
Yeah, it's crazy. So it's undeniable at this point. I tried to deny it. I tried to actively deny it. I tried to make up in my mind. I'm like, you know what? Nope, not doing it. But I've been sat on that screen and that purchase screen 3 times in the last 24 hours. And look at Asante in the chat. He said level 48. So in Asante, but man, and we're gonna throw this over to you, Pong, because I know you've been playing this, Pong. I know you haven't gotten into it. You're gonna knee deep next 48 hours. We talked about this pre-game. This is what you're gonna be playing, I'm sure, for the most part. So where you at on it from the little, and what is it? Is it magic, Pong? What is it?
No, I was knee deep into it last weekend, and then this week, this is one of those games that I don't want to turn on, like Wilmy just said, unless I have hours. Right. So for me, getting home at night after work and knowing that I'm not going to have hours, I've got other stuff going on that's going to interrupt me. This is one of those games where you need a block of time. Now, some people might be able to play it at an hour at a time. Not me. Right. Last weekend, like I was in it and I was playing it. Steele and I were in chat together. We weren't even playing together. We were just chatting about what was going on, what we were finding, and where we were finding things. That's the other big thing about this that I've seen in this
community, man. Wow.
Whether even if you're not playing co-op, even if you're just sitting in chat, but you're all on Elden Ring, you're talking about all the new things you're discovering because the scope of this game. Again, I will still say, it's massive. I will still say Skyrim from a landmass standpoint is probably bigger than this, but this is right up there in terms of that size of scope.
I heard it's huge. I heard it's gigantic.
When you think you're finding an edge, you're not finding an edge. It opens up into a whole nother land, or you find a underground cave system that you're going to go explore, whatever the case may be. What From Software has done here is no small feat in any way, shape, or form. Again, we could talk about the 97, whether it deserves that with some of the issues it has had and still has on certain PC and that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, what From Software did with this game to take what they learned from the Souls game and to be able to translate it into an open world setting, that is not an easy task. People can sit back and go, oh, well, it's probably just a little bit easier to create an open world because you don't have to plan out that. No. When you create an open world game and actually make it filled with things and still have those moments where you're coming up against the bosses and it's still epic, even though you're not confined like you were in a Dark Souls game, that is something special. And for them to knock it out of the park the first time they try an open world game, extra kudos, extra credit.
Bro.
It just does not happen. It really doesn't. From Software has created a little bit of magic here with this game. They took everything they learned from Dark Souls that created this fanatical fan base in the Dark Souls and then translated it into open world and made it just a tad bit more accessible. And all of a sudden it explodes into the mainstream, right? It's no longer niche. We can no longer say Souls games are niche.
Hell no.
Okay?
Hell no.
But that held true up until launch day of Elden Ring. But the minute Elden Ring launched, and that it was like dropping a bomb in a lake with the ripple effect that it had. I've covered this on PM and the PM and then on Living Split Screen today. But I'll just do a quick synopsis of exactly how big. I won't go through the whole chart, but there's a gentleman who posted a tweet earlier this week, and he's a part of a group that actually monitors the amount of articles that are written about games during their launch week. Realize this. I'm just going to pick out a couple here. He posted a graph. His name is James Bartholomew. He works for ICO Partners or ICO Partners, however they say it. They cover how many articles are written during launch weeks of games, amongst other things, but they analyze this. Let me just give you a couple examples here. Halo Infinite, 3,754 articles written during its launch week, right? Hyped game. Cyberpunk 2077, one of the most hyped games out there. All the issues that came along with the hate train during launch week of Cyberpunk 2077. Everybody was writing articles. Everybody was talking about it. 3,849 articles written launch week of that. Most recently, Horizon Forbidden West, a large first-party home run from Sony. We know what kind of attention that gets, and we saw it. 4,559 articles written about launch week. Elden Ring, 7,323 articles written about this game. That's called a nuke, okay? That's called absolutely grabbing mind share instantaneously on a game that a lot of people were hyped about, but to the masses was not even pretty much on the radar, or for most people who don't like Souls games or never played Souls games.
The wave is so big, bro. Yes. Like the wave is undeniable, bro. It's almost overwhelming. Like I feel the pressure to buy this game. Like I feel this is the first. I feel like I almost feel like I don't have a choice. I almost feel like I do not have a choice, and I haven't had a game made me feel like I don't have a choice but to purchase it in a very, very long time. And once again, that may just be this is whether or not I'll even like it, but I do feel like I am truly missing out on something by not playing this game.
You are.
It is a changer again.
No peer pressure or anything, but
no peer pressure. But it is.
Meanwhile, I hear one of us.
It's one of those games that if you are on the fence now, Souls players will tell you that it's still a Souls game at heart, at its core, and it is. Again, this is number 5 for me that I've tried. This is the only one that has grabbed me the way this one has. I've quit all the other ones after a very short time. Bloodborne, Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 2, and Demon Souls, okay? All those I tried. Didn't grab me for very long. Bloodborne, I think, was my most played at probably like 10 hours maybe before I gave up and said, no, just not. I'm not going to spend the time to get good. I'm not going to do it. This is too frustrating for me. This one right here is the first one to do it. But this has that mass appeal that they've been missing. This is going to, it already is, but From Software is now into the upper stratosphere.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Game, right?
They're right up there. Absolutely.
Like I said, from an open world standpoint, me being a huge open world fan, Skyrim will still be king at the end of the day. But this Elden Ring, as far as the open world goes, the exploration, the sense of discovery as you're just wandering around this magical place is right up there with your Bethesda titles.
I was gonna say, and that leads me to say something. That leads me to say this. This is how, and this is just to put a button on this. This is how important, or this is how I know for sure Elden Ring is legit. it's been so big and it's done so well and been talked about so positively that people are wondering, like, there's pressure on a game called Starfield that's 10 months away.
Yeah.
That one we know well, the expectation of Starfield is huge, the scope, scale of the game, but Elden Ring's so big that people are even questioning Starfield, like, can it even reach this level? So in this game, we don't even know really much about it, Starfield at this point, but like coming from a game that is 25-year-old in the making, from a studio like Bethesda, from a person like Todd, like that's a lot. That says a lot.
Different type.
We all have to admit too, there's not many Bethesda games that aren't buggy as hell.
Yeah.
I mean,
the bugs are charming.
They're known to be buggy.
The bugs are charming.
There's memes about it. I mean,
that's fair.
It's their games are usually rough on launch.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
we're hoping something different for Starfield because if the game was pretty much done and they've had a year of they'll have a year of polishing at this point.
That's like I live at the beach, and every time we get a hurricane, I sit back and go, "I hope better for this one." But it's going to happen.
I know, Wilmy. And I get it, and it is one of those things. No Bethesda game score-wise, as far as Metacritic goes, has reached this level. They've been in the 90s despite the bugs, which is a testament unto itself about how great their games are. But this is a different type of RPG as well.
It is. It's not even the same game.
It's not the same. You don't have the character building. You don't have all the NPCs and all that story behind it. The story here is told more through reading than anything else. This is not that type of game where you're getting all these different side quests that are filling you in on whole new factions that you never knew about. Exactly. All that kind of stuff. This is totally different. Again, where it compares, where I see the influence of a Skyrim, even though From may not even have looked at that, but maybe they did when they were thinking about their first open world, but they put their own spin on it. It's the sense of exploration and discovery. Around each corner, there's something new to see or something new to find, and it's constant. That gameplay loop constantly gives you that rush of, hey, I'm going over here. What the heck am I going to find next? It might be that dragon that you weren't expecting coming out of the sky and dropping in the middle of your game, and you're like, nope, out of here. We're running away. Or it might be a treasure chest, or it might be a door into underground cave system, right? Dungeon. All of that is there in spades. Like, there is no moment where you're just wandering around and you're not looking at something going, what is that? Or what can I get up there? What is that tower? Should I go explore that? These ruins over here, they look dangerous. Should I go in there? Boy, this graveyard looks cool. Maybe there's a cool, new weapon or new armor in there. What am I going to find? Next thing you know, you're surrounded by undead warriors, right? And you're fighting for your life. Everything in this game is out to kill you. Okay, everything is out to kill you. And that sense of desperation / hey, I really kind of want to go see what's over here, but I'm kind of scared. You just don't get that in a lot of games. And they've done it so well here. It's kind of magical. As Wilmy said, as you brought up PTK, it's kind of magical what they've done here. Again, sky's the limit for From Software from this point out. I think a lot of people, From Software is going to have big decisions to make for their next game. They need to hop on this. I've said in the DMs, whatever they were planning on doing, look, they're going to support this game. Most of the Souls games get DLC, so they're going to support this game. But they need to turn this team around and start thinking about Elden Ring 2. But going forward, there's a lot of new people that are going to be interested in this type of game, but I don't know how many of those people are going to want a linear style Dark Souls game. They're going to want open world from Software from here on out, because this is something different, something special that you just don't get every day. So,
and it's a home run. Like, it's a swing and it's out of there. Like, it's been gone. So it's doesn't. And once again, it's undeniable. That's the thing. I was trying to resist the wave, but it's undeniable at this point. Like, it's almost too good to be true, but you keep hearing it over and over again. Puppies. And shout out to K Asante in the chat. He said to that, I say Phil Spencer played Elden Ring before we knew what it was, and although he said he loved this game, he is still pretty confident about Starfield. He's played both, must mean something. So I mean, who knows, right? Who knows?
Oh yeah. I have all the faith in the world in Starfield.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So absolutely. So we're gonna go ahead and throw this actually over to you, Fuzz. Get your opinion now. I know you said you've been holding off intentionally playing some of the some different games for Forbidden West. I know you said you had to finish that up as well as now you're playing GT7. So Elden Ring, bro, this is a phenomenon. Can I say that? Is that a is it would you agree with that word, phenomenon? Would you say that?
I'll go with that. And if you don't bite, you hate puppies and small children.
Perfectly said,
So
Willie. Perfectly said.
I would say a phenomenon is about right. I think we're all in agreement on that. So where you at? I mean, this thing was like a tsunami out of nowhere, bro. I mean, people were obviously Souls fans were really, really, really interested. There was a large hardcore group of people that were like, pulling their eyeballs out, waiting on any kind of information from this game. And boy, did they I don't think there's been a game that's over delivered to this point in the last. I can't really think. I mean, I can't really think. So just where you at on Elden Ring and when you get it, I mean, where you at on this, man? It's crazy. I can't even really talk about it.
I'm on the buy screen right now.
Oh, see,
look.
Because he likes small children and puppies.
Way to go, Fuzzy. Way to go.
Oh, this peer pressure. See, look, all right.
It's one of those things. Like I was going to hold off for myself because, like I said, I got a couple of open world games, and GT7 is going to take a lot of my time. But one of my sons is like, "Yeah, I want to play it." So it's since I game share with my kids, it might as well. I'll get it now, and I get the Microsoft reward points while I'm doing it. So yeah.
That's not an ad. We're not sponsored, by the way, people. Because not in any way, shape, or form. But no, just where you. I mean, obviously, you just made a purchase, by the way.
Yeah.
So where you at? I mean, we're just the way this view.
I'll be honest. You guys know from the DMs, I didn't think that this game would have legs beyond this month. Like I knew it was going to be big for the month, but like there's a few games that have in the past been big for like a month and then nobody talks about them anymore type of thing. And it looks like that's not going to be the case. So I was wrong. I'm not ashamed to admit it. Yeah. But I kind of saw that this was going to be different from your normal Dark Souls and that it would probably have more of a mass appeal, but not this level of mass appeal. I thought it was going to be like if a Dark Souls sells 1 to 2 million copies, I figured maybe this will be 3 to 4 million, and I have a feeling when it's all said and done, this thing's going to probably hit 8 or 9 million copies within the.
It might be over 10 already.
It might be. I was going to say.
So if it's already at that point,
yeah.
I mean, it's definitely cross mainstream. Let's just say, and there's only a handful of games that can do things like that. Like, yes, me being a racer, Forza Horizon was able to kind of pull that off in a couple of cases, like Forza Horizon 3 with the Hot Wheels DLC, and then Forza Horizon 5. Those kind of cross the lines where most people that don't even pay attention to racers still pick them up just for at least the Hot Wheels stuff, and then for the more recent one, just for the visuals and things like that. And I think that had a lot of buzz about it, but you don't hear quite as much buzz about the 18 million people that have signed in or bought the game or played the game type of thing. But this one, like I see so many of people in my timeline and stuff that are like, "Oh, I finally beat the boss. Oh, I beat this boss in the first try.
Dude, crazy.
I'm level 48 and they're still kicking my butt. But hey, I killed, this. I found this new cave and stuff." So it's like it has all those things that I like about open world games in it, and it has multiple paths that you can approach things. You don't have to go head first into the first boss and get your butt handed to you type of thing. You can kind of level up or
you definitely don't want to hit the first boss on the golden horse armor guy. Yeah, don't hit it.
Yeah, it just seems like some of these things are like ridiculous. Like, I won't say ridiculous, but like nightmare fuel. Like the one boss that's on like a little horse, but he's like a mountain-sized dude on a little horse. It's like, what the heck? And then the sword, it's like a one-hit kill type of thing. So I think at some point I will be diving into this, but I'll probably be so late. But at least I'll have all of your guys' advice and I guess you could say impromptu guides, because I know Wilmy was telling me, and I think even Crazy Louie was saying it's better to pick like a lighter armor, so it makes you a little bit more nimble, so you can get around them, and like you said, make it more tactical, or at least approach it with some sort of strategy to at least
make it a little faster.
Yeah. So it just seems like this game is going to. I wouldn't say it's genre defining, but it will be mimicked by a lot of other games. Like people are going to take notice of all the buzz about this, the sales and whatnot, and there's going to be a lot more titles that we'll see that are open world that might borrow a couple of things from this.
I know a couple companies like Ubisoft that could borrow some things from this.
Hey, do not give them any damn ideas, please, God, no. They need to hit the reset button over there.
The new Splinter Cell coming out, make it as the old ones were. Make
Platinum
it tough,
Games should take
it hard. Exactly.
Yeah,
Babylon Falls definitely failed in it.
Oh yeah, Jesus Christ, that's bad timing, horrible timing. DOA, but no, I go ahead, Fuzz. Go ahead.
No, but like Pong was saying, Ubisoft, was it Phoenix Rising? Maybe Phoenix Rising 2 is a blend of what that formula of the Breath of the Wild that they kind of mimicked with their original game and add a little bit more difficulty scaling and things like that of Elden Ring to it in the future. And that, might be another surprise hit for them as well. But I caved. I bought it. Son wanted to play it. So yeah, not going to wait for a sale since I get the Microsoft rewards points, and that'll pretty much push me over the top, so I get another 3 free months of Game Pass Ultimate.
Awesome. Game Pass plug there as well, man, on the end. But yeah, it's something that just doesn't happen, man, and it's undeniable at this point, man. It has me so interested and has me watching videos about it and watching people play it and people stream it, and people are so excited. And that's what we're here for, and that's what I'm caught up in, because we don't get this that often where people are unified. Like, people aren't arguing that this game is great. Like, some people are arguing about some nitpicky things. Not everybody's going to agree, but generally, everybody's in agreement. Buy this fucking game. Like, buy it to play it. We don't care where you're playing at. Just buy it. Please buy it so you can experience this level of awesomeness that everybody's getting to play. But okay, that's awesome, man. I'm damn it, I got it. Yeah, see, you guys are gonna make me go ahead and I'm gonna just go ahead and do it too. Fuck it. I mean, I'm gonna so just go ahead.
There you go, PTK. Give it.
Just go ahead. Yeah. See, Pong, you're the wrong. You're supposed to be talking me out of this, Pong.
No, I will not talk you out of that. It's an experience. You know me, I'm a grazer. I'm all about experiences. This is a great experience you don't want to miss out on. Is it guaranteed you'll like it? No, it's not. And there's probably been a lot of people who have said, nope, still not for me. That's okay. Yeah. Not every game, but I would say, like you, PTK, if you're on the fence and you're okay with risking the $60, try it, because it's worth the experience. I think you'll find something in this world that you love, no matter what.
Awesome.
And not everybody likes puppies and children.
There's that too, right? There's that too. I don't want to let them down, but so I mean, just because we got some extra time here, we finished up. That was actually the last scheduled topic I had. We got some extra time, chat. So if you guys want to throw us some quick questions, anything else you guys hear about throughout this week, anything else you guys want to talk about, we'll just freestyle here for the last few minutes and last 15-20 minutes or so before we wrap this thing up. So chat right now, go ahead and throw us some questions. If there may be something that we didn't cover right now, something that we didn't talk about tonight that you guys would like our opinion on, let us know, man, and we'll go ahead and cover that. But anything, Pong, Fuzz, that we didn't get to, we always sometimes freestyle. So anything that we didn't get to this week that you guys would like to talk about?
Just briefly touch on Kia Pia and the artesian builds and how businesses can stick their foot in their mouth sometimes.
1 second, Fuzz. 1 second. So Wilmy actually has to head out. So we got to make sure.
My dog is pawing at my door, gentlemen.
Okay. No. It's all good, brother. It's all good.
She is a 90-pound pit bull, and when you tell her no, she don't like it.
It's all good. It's all good. So we're gonna see Wilmy out. But thank you for being on the show today, bro. We'll still have once again, chat. We're not wrapping the show up, but we're gonna see Wilmy out here. But go ahead and let everybody know where they can find you, Wilmy, before you go.
It's easy. You can find me every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern on Gaming Beyond the Box on YouTube. Find me on Twitter, Xbox, PlayStation, and Steam.
All right. Well, awesome. Awesome having you on the show, brother. Once again, if you guys are a fan of us here at the Shop Podcast, go ahead and follow Gaming Beyond the Box over there at Wilmy as well, host over there, creator over there, Meme King as well. So shout out to you, brother. Thank you. You enjoy the rest of your night, man. Appreciate you.
Well, and thanks for having me. And let me get Miss Lilith outside before she goes through my door, dude.
Later, Wilmy. Appreciate you, brother.
Take it
Later,
easy,
gentlemen.
Later, Wilmy.
All right. So once again, so go ahead, Fuzz. I didn't mean to cut you off like that.
I was going to say Kia Pia and the artesian builds and how companies can kind of stick their foot in their mouth multiple times.
Yeah.
Just to briefly touch on it, it goes to show how you should never be an asshole in public. I don't know if that can apply to Twitter at times for some people out there, but yeah, they kind of denied her winning a PC when her name was clearly on the screen because she didn't meet their current streamer standards. And then Jay's 2 cents kind of stepped in and built an even better PC and hooked her up. And Artesian Bills probably lost their sponsor from Intel, which that's going to hurt if you're a computer or a PC builder. But that was a strange story that I don't know. Just wanted to say something about.
Yeah, no, it's all good. No, I saw that as well, kind of on my timeline as well. I didn't really look into it as much, but I definitely saw that. So hopefully that all worked out. It sounds like it all worked out eventually. So Pong, anything that we didn't cover, chat, let us know once again if anything you guys wanted to cover this week that we didn't get to on the main topics that we've already talked about today. Pong, was there anything on the timeline that you saw?
I'm trying to think if there was anything else. Well, hey, look, we did get Rockstar came out with details about Grand Theft Auto 5 and the current gen upgrades that they're coming out with.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, exactly. So they did come out with that, which is interesting. Again, we all want people to stop buying this damn game, so they come out with number 6. But it is still a big deal. It looks like they've done more than maybe some people were expecting, but less than some of us were hoping for. And I think that this is still a case of minimal effort, maximum payoff. They know they don't have to do a lot, but they are going to have, some 60 frames per second. They're going to have some ray tracing in there, which is great. It's going to be upscale 4K 60 resolution with ray tracing enabled and targeting 60 frames per second. So that's good to see, right? I'm glad they did that. Obviously, the highest fidelity mode is still going to be only 4K, true 4K, and 30 frames. For this game to be this old and for them not to be able to just do full 4K and ray tracing, to me still is like, really, at this point, really? But I will take what we can get. I'm not going to buy it again. I'm just saying Rockstar did do a little bit more here. The save transfers are a one-time shot deal to transfer it over, and it can only be done. You can't do it. It's not cross-platform. You can't change from PlayStation to Xbox. So if you bought a series console, but your Grand Theft Auto 5 save is still on PlayStation, you're not going to be able to transfer it over to Xbox. So it's going to be, obviously peer-to-peer stuff with the save file transfers. But still, good to hear them finally giving some details on this. And obviously, hopefully, now that this is coming out, they can focus all their efforts on number 6 and make number 6 for everybody who's looking forward to it. Because I'd like to see number 6 before the end of this generation.
That would be great. That would be freaking awesome if we get a chance to see that game at all. That damn unicorn. Good luck with that, Bigfoot.
Right. Exactly. Yep.
But no. Once again, chat, let us know as well what you guys want to see. I see OCD said anyone getting the Valhalla expansion. I don't know if anybody's diving back in it. I think people are too busy playing Elden Ring right now. I think people have moved on. I think people are well past that. People have jumped on that.
The big problem was I thought that was one that was supposed to be part of the premium pack, and now they made it a separate expansion, which I'm kind of pissed about. It's like,
oh, that is the initial. We talked about that. I remember when the game came out. That was one of your biggest gripes. I remember.
Yeah, but no, I didn't pick up the separate expansion. Ubisoft right now is not on my favorite list right now.
Oh, me either.
They've let Division kind of falter for over a year now.
I'm pissed at that, bro.
We don't hear anything about Avatar, or haven't heard much about it. I know somebody had retweeted a post from 2017 or 2021 or something about Avatar, but still no word on when that game is going to hit. I guess it depends on the movie. And then no further info on the progress of Star Wars. And they're supposedly working on a Splinter Cell, but they said that before, and then they didn't say that, and then they said it again. Yeah.
Well,
so-
they officially announced Splinter Cell, so we know they're working on it. It's just really early. They were trying to hire for it, so it was
Yeah.
still really early.
Oh, and Skull and Bones and
Yes,
Beyond
well-
Good and Evil. Like,
Yeah, well, we heard Skull and Bones is supposed to come next year. They're
Yeah.
saying next year. Yeah, okay, whatever.
Yeah, okay.
I really
Yeah, was
can't
gonna
believe.
say,
I really can't believe we haven't heard about Heartland though.
that pisses me off, bro.
They
I'm
were
so
beta
upset.
testing it last year. I mean, there was people out there playing it. I know
Mm-hmm.
people who played it. Like,
Mhm.
there's like no reason why we don't have more information
Bro,
about Heartland right
The
now.
Division is such a good game,
Yes.
and it could be just as thriving as Destiny. I think at this point, to me, if
Had they done it right, yeah.
had they done it the right way and supported it,
yeah.
I mean, Bungie's dropped the ball a lot along the way, but one thing that you can see is the passion that they have for
Mhm.
Destiny, and they do put a lot of shit into that game. When they make DLCs, the DLCs are epic and they make sense, and people are willing, and that community feeds off of that good energy. They've just abandoned Division, and Division has I'm a big Division fan. Me and Fuzz, how many hours do you think we got in Division, Fuzz? Probably.
Oh God, I know the first one I got over 2,000 hours, and I'm actually
it's
I don't
something.
even think it's hours. I know I have like almost a year and some
it's
time.
something retarded.
And
It's
and
hundreds of
two,
hours.
it's like half that amount of time,
Yeah.
only because I got banned for a bit. But
Yeah.
it's a ridiculous
love
amount of time.
I still love that Fuzzy got banned. Out of all the people, Fuzzy.
Yeah.
That shit
Hey,
is
I got
hilarious.
tired of them not banning people for like actual
He
griefing
said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna
exploits,
do it,"
and I'm
and
like,
it got banned
this one isn't
immediately.
griefing anybody. It's
He
like,
got-
oh, it's
he
just
got-
it's like a weapons thing.
the-
All right,
the
I'll give it a
first
try. And it's
time-
like
the-
ban.
The
for
first
like a
time
week.
he did it, Pong.
I'm like, are you kidding me? Like they had a glitch where if you had these turtle, I keep on calling it the turtle shell knee pads. It had some sort of like turtle as far as like the icon on it, but you could resist explosive damage if you were in cover. Well, the thing is, if you self-grenaded yourself, it would bounce you off of cover and you would be invincible.
Nice.
And they didn't ban people for that. And people would go into the dark zone and grief people. And people complained about it, and they didn't do anything. They didn't even patch it for almost a month. They're like, we know the issue. We're going to work on it. We'll get to it when we can. And they didn't do anything for all the people that were doing that. So this weapons glitch came up, and it's like, oh, I can one-shot a boss? I'm not going into the dark zone. I'll just worry about, farming some of the bosses. I didn't even do like the raid or anything. It was just the regular open world things. Banned. I'm like, are you serious?
and it pisses
I'll
me
install the
off,
game
bro.
for like at least 3 or 4 months.
I
man.
remember
Oh.
I would try and get him to come back and play. He would deny me. I'd be like, bro, come play. He'd be like, nah, I'm not playing that. I'm playing something else. Fuck that game. I'm like, oh, bro, you really done with this game for real, bro? Like, anyway, but he eventually came back. He did. He eventually came back. But that upsets me, bro. That upsets me. I don't even want to like. We're off that. I'm not even. No, shout out to him. Shout out to him solo, man. He said Scorn is looking good. Did you guys get a chance to see that little clip?
Yeah.
Scorn looks, man, look, they've cleaned that thing. Not that it looked bad or anything, but you can tell the difference a year makes or so. That thing looks every time I see it, it looks better and better.
Yeah.
So where you guys? I mean, where you guys at on that? I know Pong. I think you were. I don't know where you at on that, but I know. I don't know. I mean, because I'm not sure Pong.
I think
can't remember
Pong
if
is
you're
against
into-
like some of the
against
like
the scary
psycho
stuff.
horror stuff.
Yeah,
So I don't know
that's
if
not
that
really
was.
a thing.
No, I
But,
said I was definitely going to jump into this because I'm an HR Geiger fan, so I'm definitely going to
okay.
jump into it.
Okay.
It looks like it's slow. It looks like it's not going to have jump scares per se. I could be completely wrong, but the pacing, which a lot of people had problems with, saying it looked really slow. For me, with the pacing being the way it is, and it's more just a creepy factor, I'm totally cool with that, right? That stuff isn't going to bother me. Now, could it? Sure. Because it doesn't look like you're going to get a whole lot of ammo for these weird weapons that they're going to give you. These biological is probably the best way to put it. Weapons. It's probably going to be a situation where you're kind of at that survival horror level where you got to really pay attention to what you're doing. So maybe in the end it won't be for me. But yeah, I'm definitely going to try Scoring because I love the aesthetic of HR Geiger. I think it's super cool, and I can't wait to see what kind of absolute weirdness they have on top of what they've already shown us. So I can only imagine what they haven't shown us is going to be even weirder. So I'm all about that. I want to see
the
what
game is. That game is absolutely weird, dude. There's no other word that describes that game is freaky as hell, bro. So if you guys haven't checked it out, I'm sure everybody in this chat has. I'm pretty sure, but haven't, go look it up on YouTube. Scoring, man. The game is freaky.
They just need to change the title from Scorn to Nightmare Fuel, and it'll be good.
Pretty damn much. That's pretty much what it is, man. Pretty much what it is. So yeah, Chris, me either, but I'm doing that right now, bro. So shout out to you too. So you the last guy. You're gonna ha ha ha. Chris doesn't have it. Ha ha ha. Chris don't have it. I'm just playing, Chris. I appreciate you, bro. But no, but yeah. So it's you got. I mean, you might as well, right, Chris? Like we're the last two guys on Earth, not so not as well, but. No, but we'll take one more question here from chat if you guys want to throw us one more question before we wrap things up here, man. It's been a great show thus far tonight. Shout out to Wilmy Hood and everybody at the Game and Beyond the Box over there for hanging out with us. He had to leave a little early, so I don't want nobody jumping in the chat talking about where the guest at. He already was here, so you got to go back and watch the podcast from the beginning. So we'll take one more question or anything else.
I'll drop another little nugget that kind of popped up too that a lot of people may not have seen. Clobrio dropped this, that Xbox is looking for an Xbox broadcast and events strategy lead. As the broadcast and events strategy lead, you will be responsible for building and delivering a world-class strategy that is innovative and showcases the future of storytelling at Xbox. Look, guys, we've talked about this. It looks like they're finally getting serious. That Phil finally rolled over at 3 a.m. and woke up in sweats saying, I've got a lot of content coming. How are we going to show this? We need to get some more shows going. We need to figure out a strategy to show off all these incredible games that we've got coming. And we can't just have E3 and just the Game Awards for it. We're going to need more. And that's what this sounds like to me. Right here, as broadcast and event strategy lead, you will be responsible for building and delivering a world-class strategy that is innovative and showcases the future of storytelling at Xbox.
Well, so once again, in my own contrarian opinion, I was going to disagree, but I actually do agree with you because normally this is something I would push back against, to be honest with you. Yeah. Normally I'd be like, because my first train of thought is, well, we don't need everybody to do the same thing the same way, right? There's more than one way to skin a cat. Not everybody needs a Nintendo Direct, but when you really think, it's not necessarily about whether or not they need it. that's not even really the purpose, right? Like it's just like it's the same thing with PlayStation and Spartacus, right? Like they don't necessarily need to jump into the deep end right away, but it's better. You might as well go that route because it's so big and it's so obvious that you see it coming. So some like adding additional shows throughout the year is something that's been hugely successful for Xbox, not for Xbox, but for Nintendo and Sony. It seemed like it'd be something that's very logical from a standpoint. And we've talked about this multiple different times. So Fuzz, we'll just get your quick opinion on that, man. That what do you think this posting means? Are you right with Pong on this? Do you think that this means they're going to go in that direction?
I hope so. I mean, like for the most part. Now, I just want to preview this with, I hope they don't do kind of the old style inside Xbox, but definitely have it where they have a better flow and plan on how to, space things out and present them to not just the hardcore, but, any new or potential Xbox, customer type of thing. It's good that they're going to do multiple shows in a year. They don't have to do it every month. Like they don't need to do a state of play type of thing. But they definitely need to kind of do something, at least at this point. Not that we're hurting for games, because there's definitely a lot of third-party stuff out there at this point in time. But it'd be nice to know if, what is it? Redfall is going to make it summer, or if it might be later in the winter. We know that Stalker 2 is going to be postponed indefinitely, or at least for some good bit of time. So what is the new replacement for like December look like? We know we have Starfield, but everything leading up to Redfall and Starfield, we kind of have like question marks, other than some smaller games like Tunic and things like that. So they definitely need to fill in those gaps instead of like shadow launching stuff like they have done in some cases, or shadow announcing things like, oh, it's in Game Pass day and date, and nobody even knew the day before type of deal, which it's kind of cool to do on some occasions. But if everything is kind of a question mark, yeah, this is a needed position and path for moving forward for them.
So Zinc is in chat playing devil's advocate. As
Shocking.
usual, right?
Shocking.
Shout out to Zinc, man. Love you, bro. Appreciate you, man. Always. But no, it's something to definitely consider, right? It's not gonna anything beneficial for the brand ultimately, right? Like I think that's what we all want. It's not going to hurt the brand.
Right.
It's not going to so why not is what I'm asking. So
right. I don't understand. Again, other Zinc, look, brother, I respect your opinion, and you come in with some really good points, at times. But what's the problem with it? Why can't we have a show, let's say the spring, right? After you got the Game Awards, they show off stuff. Springtime, they show us some of the stuff, early summer stuff, all that kind of thing. Games coming out in Game Pass, whatever the case may be, third-party deals that they have coming, whatever, right? They show us stuff in the spring. Then we have E3 time. Great. Then we have another show in between, kind of around the fall. And then you have the Game Awards show. Why not just 2 more shows a year, put together something like a Nintendo Direct? It's not going to hurt. Not every Nintendo Direct is awful. Have there been some that are blah? Absolutely, of course. But with as much content as Xbox has, they can fill it up. So like PTK said, what's the harm in it? Why not have a show? And other Zinc, to your point about the YouTube channels, bro, come on. Xbox YouTube channels, nobody goes to those channels to see what's coming out. Maybe you do, but it's not a big event. Like, it's nice to showcase some of the stuff coming out, and who cares? We get to see more. That's all I'm asking for. Let's see what's coming. Let's see, give those games, whether they're small, mid, or big, give them the hype they deserve, not just at E3, not just at the Game Awards. That's what.
And even you can justify the amount of content Xbox has at this point justifies more shows. Yeah,
correct.
Right?
Exactly.
Like
they have so much.
The amount of content at this point in time to just what they have in their war chest currently, and especially with the addition, as long as everything goes through with this Activision Blizzard thing, I mean, they absolutely can justify having a couple more shows a year. They need it,
their
right?
own E3.
Like, yeah, right? Like, I mean, unless we're gonna have a 3-hour E3, which I don't think is gonna happen ever. So I don't think they'll ever do that, but I once again, listen, this is something I would normally push back a little bit, but at this point in time, a couple years ago, I'd be like, not so necessary. Now, absolutely. You're 35 plus studios deep. Well, once the ink dries on this next deal, like, absolutely, please.
Yeah, for me, the main thing I'm looking forward to is Motorsport 8 news. That's what I want to hear.
Oh, that too. So Shonsu did mention something else. They did inherit BlizzCon and QuakeCon. So they do have other events now up under the umbrella that they can also, and that was actually Pong, you threw that idea out there about them utilizing those shows as well. So that's something that we'll
changing the format a little bit and utilizing them that way as well. So
Good point. So I think we're gonna go ahead and just wrap things up on that point, man. So once again, great show. Shout out to our guests. I know he's not here, but Wilmy Hood, everybody over there at Gaming Beyond the Box Nation, man. Shout out to everybody. Go support them. His information is down in the link in the descriptions below. Go follow them on Twitter. Both that and the Gaming Beyond the Box Twitter account are down there as well. So shout out to everybody watching us live. Chat was lit today. You guys had a lot of Elden Ring fans obviously trying to persuade us that haven't bought it yet to buy it. So thank you guys. I appreciate that.
From software, I want a little cut because we got Fuzzy to do it and PTK
and me. So right. You're welcome.
3 referrals,
Exactly, right? Like Pong should be getting a cut, something. But anyway, man, shout out to everybody that was watching us live, man. We had such a good time. Great show as usual. I'm gonna go ahead and let my 2 compadres here talk here for a second, then I'll wrap things up. But Pong, great show, man. Another week. More Elden Ring, obviously, but we had a great guest on, man. So appreciate you being here. Let everybody know where they can find you, man.
Yeah, absolutely. What an awesome time. Shout out to Wilmy for being here with us again 2 times in 1 week, man. That doesn't happen very often with Wilmy, man. That was awesome. And again, that's with really Fuzzy good as well. Fuzzy was on GBTV with me. So yeah, man. Awesome stuff. Like I said, a little light week for podcasting for me this week. A couple shows off, only added 1. So, I love being here, man. This was a great time. You guys are fantastic. I love you, brothers. So thank you for making Saturday night so special. Chat, you as well. All of you, love you. Thank you for coming out and showing us the support and love. Man, we can't do this without you all being here each and every week. There would be no point to it, but thank you for being here. Do love you and respect you for that. Pong Soul, Xbox, Pong Soul, Twitter. You know the drill. Follow me back. This week, I will not be on Xbox Factor podcast again, 2 weeks in a row, the first time that's ever happened. But hey, real life is what it is. So that's not going to be there, but please show up on Xbox Factor. Everybody here, I'm sure, knows Double Barrel Gaming, Mr. Boomstick, one of the best in the business. Go check them out. Mav will be there if he can. Otherwise, Archimedes, Mr. Joanna Dark, and now VJ as well. Shout out to that whole crew, my extended family there. Please go see them. 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 o'clock Central on Tuesdays. Thursday night, back at it, PM in the PM, Pong and Mav in the PM. Just him and I, two-man show, unless we have a random guest on, which we have done. But otherwise, we break it down. 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 topics at the most. Great conversation, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 o'clock Central Time. That's on Fun Speculations channel, PM in the PM. Thursday nights, and then Friday nights back at it. Xbox Ultimate should be back this week, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock Central Time. Never know where we're going to go on that show. It's just a fun time over there. Yeah, we talk a lot of Xbox, but we talk a lot of other things too. Great way to end your Friday night. Show up there. Saturday mornings, Living Split Screen. We will be back next week. My brother from another Steel Rain and I. Look, there's a light week news-wise, and we still made it over 4 hours this week. We will say 3+ hours, up to normally 4 hours is where we're at this point, but we'll say 3+ hours depending on what the week looks like. Look, have a great time. Drop on in. Bring a friend. We're trying to hit 1K this year. Living Split Screen, all one word. 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central Time, 3 p.m. UK time. Living Split Screen. Check us out. Otherwise, I'll be back here next week. It's the golden age of gaming. Funny thing, more and more people are saying that phrase. I don't know where it came from, but I love it. Golden age of gaming is here. Shout out to everybody starting to use that. I love it because it's true. Golden age of gaming is here. Please go enjoy it. If you're enjoying Elden Ring, fantastic. You know what the great thing is, though? If Elden Ring isn't for you, there's 1,000 other games out there right now that you could be playing. There's something for everybody, and there's something new for everybody. This is just the best time ever to be a gamer. Don't let anybody break that hype. Mute, block, whatever you got to do. Protect your energy, protect your excitement for this industry because it is the greatest show on earth right now, right here. Play what you love what you play, and I'll talk to you all real soon. Have a great weekend.
Appreciate you, Pong. Couldn't have put it any more eloquently than you have today, Pong. Appreciate you, man. Every single week showing up, showing out, man. So once again, show Pong some love. Go follow him, all the socials down below. Go follow him on Twitter. That's where you're going to be able to keep up with Pong. You know, the schedule changes quite a bit, varies from week to week, but go follow him on Twitter. That's where you'll be able to keep and track with what's going on with him. And we're going to go ahead and throw this over to you, Fuzz. Smooth things out here before we wrap it up, man. Appreciate you every week on the show as well, Mr. Consistent, bruh. So how let everybody know where they can find you.
Well, I want to shout out to Wilmy for being on today. It was awesome being on the podcast with him 2 times in a week. I was also on here with Pong Soul on GBTV earlier this week, so that was pretty cool and awesome to be here with you guys and everybody in the chat. Still up here enjoying Gran Turismo, even if it seems like I'm complaining a bit about
one thing. I want to throw this in. Sorry about that. So I'm gonna get this game. It's co-op as well, correct?
Yes,
I believe so.
Okay. All right,
yes.
So somebody's playing with me at some point.
It's not your normal co-op, so just be prepared for that. It's a little convoluted. It's Souls, so you got to summon people in, and you can't just like in the open world. You can't be running around co-op. It's more for the boss battles and stuff.
Okay,
so it's a little different.
All right, we'll figure that out. But go ahead, Fuzz. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, but man. These games that we have now, like Ponga said, Golden Age of Gaming, you need to make a T-shirt, man. Come on, get to it. Type of deal.
I know. You do, man.
No, but man, it was awesome being on here with you guys and everyone in the chat and with Wilmy on here. For anybody interested in my ramblings on Gran Turismo or Forza or pretty much any game that I've been playing over these past few weeks. You can find me on Twitter at @fuzzy_Belvedere, YouTube @fuzzy_Belvedere, and even Instagram, although I think it's just Fuzzy Belvedere altogether. Look for tidbits hopefully this week if on Fun Speculations channel, if everything is if he has the free time, on Friday mornings on Breakfast with Boom with Mr. Boomstick, Crispy Bomb, and Dreadpool, as well as sometimes we have Cloud Gaming and Mr. Badbit. And then on Saturday evenings at 6 p.m. Eastern time on Fun Speculations channel with Mav and Just Key. And looking forward to being on here with you guys again next week at 8 p.m. Eastern time. But man, it's a fun time. Great time to be a gamer. I'm sorry, Pong. You already should have trademarked these words, but yeah, just man, have fun, play games, have fun. Less Twitter, I guess. That's about it.
And last but not least, your boy PTK Blam here, man. Great show as always. Follow me on Twitter, PTK Blam. Here, follow me on Xbox as well if you want to, play some games there. Once again, I will be playing Elden Ring. Okay, so I will be dipping my toes in that. But yeah, I appreciate you guys every single week, man. You guys show out here. So same place, same time next week. All right, different guests. So you guys also, I love suggestions. So let me know on Twitter as well if you guys have a suggestion for a guest, somebody you think would be fun fit for the podcast. Let me know. My DMs are always open, so I rarely block or do any of that kind of stuff. So there's no issues there. Let me know. Want you guys to be a part of the show as much as possible. But see you guys next week. Enjoy your weekend. Have some fun. Play some video games. Be safe. Peace out, everybody.
Later.